Let me ask you something. How long have you been saying you're going to do that thing? You know the thing, the business, the move, the conversation you need to have, the life you keep saying you're going to start living. How long? Because I want to talk to you today about the most dangerous word in the English language. It's not hate, it's not failure, it's not even fear. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow is the word that has stolen more dreams, more potential, more lives than anything else you can think of. And the wild part, nobody talks about it like the weapon that it actually is. Today, we're starting something called the Blueprint. 28 rules to win in every area of your life, in money, health, relationships, freedom. And we are starting with rule number 1, because if you can't conquer this one, none of them even matter. So let's go. Alex Hormozi, investor and one of the most direct voices in business today, laid out 28 ways people stay poor. And the very first one on his list, start tomorrow. He flipped it on its head using a concept called inversion thinking. Instead of asking, how do I succeed? Ask, what would guarantee that I fail? And then do the opposite. The number one way to guarantee you fail is keep starting tomorrow. But here is where I'm going to take this further than Hormozi did. Because this isn't just about staying broke. Tomorrow doesn't just steal your money. It steals your health. It steals your relationships. It steals your sense of self. It steals your entire life, one day at a time, quietly, without ever announcing itself. And I know this not because I read it in a book, but because I lived it. And I watched the people around me lose everything to it. I want to tell you something I've never said out loud quite like this. I was afraid to start. Not lazy, not distracted, afraid. Afraid that if I actually tried, if I actually went all in on the idea in my head, it might actually become something real. And if it became something real, I could fail at it. And if I failed at it, I'd have to go back to the life I already knew I didn't want. A life that felt like a cage. So what did I do? I stalled in the most socially acceptable way. I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to build a business. I knew that if I structured something of my own correctly, I could have the freedom I was chasing. But I didn't have the knowledge yet. I wasn't ready. And my family made it clear. Go to college or get out the house. So I went to college. 5 years in school. And you know what business school taught me? Almost nothing. But it gave me something else. More time to delay. I graduated. I still didn't know what business to start. Got a job as an auditor at a Fortune 500 company. Told myself I'd figure it out. 1 year passed, 2 year came, and I was still sitting at my desk, looking out the window at that sky in that skyscraper, watching people move freely on the street below, thinking, why am I here? This is not my life. But I still didn't start. I talked about it. I dreamed about it. Me and my coworker would go back and forth about business ideas, feeding the dream, but never doing anything about it. And then the moment came that forced my hand. I stopped playing the corporate game. I wouldn't do the office politics. I wouldn't perform for people I didn't respect. They put me on a 90-day program. Get it together or get fired. And I had a choice to make. Do I save a job I don't even want? Or do I use these 90 days to build what I've been talking about for years? I chose the business. While everyone thought I was trying to save my job, I was writing a business plan for a high-end wedding dress consignment boutique. A place where women selling their dresses on Craigslist could bring them in, we'd sell them together and split the revenue. When I got fired, and yeah, I got fired, I had a store up and running within 3 months. Getting fired was the best thing that ever happened to me. Not because it was easy, because it was the push I needed to stop waiting for tomorrow. Now, here's the other side of my story. The people I've watched choose tomorrow, they're still there, still stuck, still saying what they're going to do. As simple as cutting their hair and as complicated as leaving their relationship they know is wrong for them. I watch people delay both and still be in the same exact place years later, barely keeping their nose above water, still struggling to meet their financial goals, still talking about the life they're going to start living. Tomorrow turned into months, months turned into years, and years turned into a life they didn't choose. Now, let me take this beyond money, because this is where I need you to really hear me. In your finances, every day you don't start building is a day your future self pays for. The business you don't start today, the investment account you don't open today, the skill you don't learn today, compound interest is real, and it works against you just as powerfully as if it worked for you. The cost of waiting isn't zero. The cost of waiting is everything you would have built. In your health, how many Mondays have you started over? How long have you been saying you're going to change the way you eat, the way you move, the way you treat your body? Your body is not waiting for you to be ready. It is aging right now. It is responding right now to every choice you're making or not making. Tomorrow in your health is a slow debt that collects interest in pain, in energy, in years of your life. In your relationships, the conversation you keep not having, the boundary you keep not setting, the love you keep not showing for because it's uncomfortable and you'll do it tomorrow. Relationships don't stay still while you wait. People drift, trust erodes, connections break. The relationship you're avoiding, fixing today might not be there to fix tomorrow. In your autonomy, your freedom, your identity, your purpose, every day you live someone else's version of your life is a day you fall further from your own. I spent years living inside a life that wasn't mine because I was afraid to start building one that was. And the longer I waited, the more foreign my own dreams started to feel. So here's a philosophical question I want to leave in your mind. If not now, when? And what exactly are you waiting for? Because here's the truth about perfect conditions. They don't exist. They never existed. The people who built remarkable lives did not wait until they were ready. They started scared. They started broke. They started with no support and no guarantee. They started anyway. Readiness is a myth that tomorrow invented to keep you in place. I only want you to do one thing after this video, not 10 things, just one. Identify one thing you have been calling tomorrow, the longest, not the easiest thing, the one that if you started today would change your trajectory of your life more than anything else. The thing you think about in the shower, the thing that wakes you up at 3 a.m., the thing that you talk about with people closest to you, but never actually move on. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down now. Pause this video and write it down. And then, and this is the part that most people skip, write down the real reason you haven't started. Not the excuse, the real reason. Is it fear of failure? Fear of what people will think? Fear of success and what that would demand of you? Not knowing where to start? Waiting for someone's permission or approval? Whatever it is, name it, because you cannot fight an enemy you refuse to identify. Then take one step Not the whole staircase, one step today, not tomorrow. Plato, the philosopher, wrote about people living in a cave, watching shadows on the wall, convinced that what they were seeing was the whole reality, until someone broke free and walked out into the light. Tomorrow is a shadow. It is the illusion that the right time is coming, that the conditions will align, that you'll feel ready, that the fear will disappear. It won't. The fear doesn't go away before you start. It goes away because you started. I got fired from a job I didn't want and turned it into a business that has made 6 figures every year for over a decade. I moved to the other side of the world alone. I have traveled over 30 countries by myself. None of it happens because I waited until I was ready. It happened because I finally stopped letting tomorrow steal from me. So I'm asking you directly, what is tomorrow costing you? And are you ready to stop paying the price? This is the blueprint. You're just getting started. Subscribe if you're serious about building a life on your own terms. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is the one thing you've been putting off the longest? I read every single one. I'm Mila. Let's wake up. Let's go.